How did we start this, Seth?
Well, you know how we start this. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Build the Culture with myself, Seth Harrison,
And me, Thomas.
and we're actually in person this time.
I know. We finally get to meet each other for the first time.
We are finally meeting each other for the first time. We've worked with each other for 8 years, and we're just now meeting each other. It's just how the industry works sometimes. Well, if you didn't notice, we're not stuck in rooms or an office trailer. We're in beautiful San Antonio.
San Antonio?
Oh, San Diego.
Oh, yeah. I think we're in the wrong place if we're in San Antonio. I mean,
It's one of those sand places.
this is much nicer than
Yeah,
San Antonio.
much nicer.
I'm not going to lie.
Sorry,
San Diego's really nice.
sorry for all the San Antonio folks out there, but you got water like that? I didn't think so.
Or a guy fishing.
Or a guy fishing.
Yeah. Either one.
I mean, there probably are people fishing in San Antonio.
Maybe. I've never seen anybody fish in the river in San Antonio.
I see a lot of people floating down rivers.
Yeah, I've seen them floating, but I didn't see them fishing.
So,
Maybe I have to look for that next time in San Antonio.
man, so today I think we're going to talk a little bit about,
The food in San Diego?
oh, yeah.
I mean, we can talk about the food.
We can definitely talk about food,
We can talk about the weather, too.
the weather. Gosh, we'll talk about weather.
We only have
We'll
to
get
say
there.
one thing about the weather. It's
Beautiful.
72 degrees.
Beautiful.
Amazing.
Beautiful. That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about what those wonderful managers that like to be micro.
Like small. Oh, you're talking about micromanagers.
Yes,
I got you now.
micromanagers.
I got you now.
Talk
Sorry.
a little bit about that, and maybe a little bit about being that person that can block things from making its way a little bit further down the mount. So
I think we can do that.
I think
I think
can
that's
do
a
that.
good start for the podcast.
You want to start
That's
there?
great open. Let's start with food.
You want to start with food?
Yeah, let's start with something positive.
All right.
The food in San Diego is fantastic.
Yes.
Wait.
We got to go to the Great Maple this morning.
If you ever come out here, please go there. It is Michelin star. Is that how you say it?
Well, Michelin reviewed. They don't have a star, but they're
Yeah.
Michelin reviewed. I mean,
It
that
works
sounds
out.
great to me.
It was fantastic.
And then, so I got to have my brisket hash that I spewed on about for 10 minutes in the first episode. Just the way I remember it from 4 years ago.
Well worth it.
Um,
What did we eat last night?
last night we went to
Nona's.
Nona's in Little Italy. So go to Little Italy part of town. Go to Nona's. Holy crap, the pasta was fantastic.
You didn't tell them it was Italian.
Hey, it's Italian.
It's Italian restaurant.
Pasta, fantastic. Eat it.
The chicken parmesan was amazing.
Their cream sauce was to freaking die for.
Yeah.
So I had the tortellini e fungi, which was mushrooms, cheese tortellini, some crispy prosciutto, so like prosciutto bacon bits in a sense.
Overcooked.
Yes, delicious, and a cream sauce, and it was to die for.
You would like cream sauce. Sorry, I had to go there.
I mean,
I
I
had
do love
to.
cream sauce. No shame.
It was delicious.
And then, and what did you have?
I had the chicken parmesan,
Oh yeah,
which is how I grade Italian restaurants.
Okay.
You know, you gotta get the same thing at every Italian restaurant, and then you can grade them.
Okay.
And then you know,
So where would you grade Nona's?
I'd say top 3.
Top 3?
Yeah,
Italian
top 3.
that you've had?
I would go
Okay.
with that. You know, my wife's chicken parmesan, the best.
Okay. So
Can't beat
does that
that
count as top? Is that in the top 3, or is that just on its own scale?
No, that's number 1.
Okay. So what's the other in the top three?
It was a little Italian restaurant in Stillwater, Oklahoma. That little mom and pop shop in Stillwater, Oklahoma, and
In Oklahoma?
they'd serve the chicken parmesan, but instead of spaghetti, they would do fettuccine alfredo around it,
Ooh.
and it was amazing.
Okay.
So you get the best of best of both worlds. You get the alfredo, and then you get the
I'm
the
just
chicken
glad you
parm.
didn't say Olive Garden. So
Well, that's my kid's favorite. So they were very proud of their stuff there at Olive Garden too.
yeah, they are. So
They really like it.
man, and then so you've been here a little bit longer. I mean,
Oh.
up on the list we got.
Are we going to talk about the elephant in the room first?
the fact that we're wearing new hats, or that we're wearing
No.
matching shirts again?
For the second time this trip, Seth and I have matched shirts and did not know it until we saw each
And
other.
by matching shirts, we're just saying color, not the same exact shirt.
Yeah. So I flew out on Sunday. Seth flew out on Monday, and we go meet at the hotel that we're staying at. And I turn around, and I'm wearing a purple shirt, and so is he. I'm like, what the hell? And then this morning we get up, we get out, we get ready to come do this podcast, go eat breakfast, come do that. And there's a big old courtyard at the hotel that we're staying at. And I walk up, and Seth's wearing the same color shirt I am again. Like, what are the odds of that?
It's probably slim to none.
But and then tomorrow we'll be wearing matching shirts.
No,
too.
we're not. Nope. Tomorrow. Well, matching logoed shirts,
Well,
not color. We are intentionally splitting up the color.
so we don't do this again.
So we
for
don't do this
for
again.
the third time this trip. We'll see what happens the rest of the week.
See, Thomas ordered both of his shirts in black, and I
Yeah.
ordered a black one and a different colored one. So tomorrow I will have my different colored one on,
Well,
and then that way I know we have different colored shirts.
to be fair, I didn't know there was other color options when I ordered the shirts.
She sent the whole thing of colors.
I didn't.
You
read
just
it.
didn't pay attention to it.
I didn't read it. I
That's
just
your
said,
fault, man.
"Send me a
That's your
shirt."
Like both in black.
Yeah, whatever. Just send me a shirt.
So anyway, so next up on our food list is Rosemary's Burgers.
Oh,
this
yeah.
place looks really good. They only do sliders, so it's like not full size burgers, and they have a couple of different fry options to choose from. So that's next up on the list. So you'll be hearing about that soon enough.
What was it? The blue cheese crumble garlic parmesan fries.
Something like that.
Yeah, whatever. It just sounded good.
Yeah. I'm gonna just.
We'll let
destroy
you
it. Literally, it says a pound of fries, so
Can't go wrong with that. And it's on the beach.
you have to share. Yeah, and it's on the beach.
Yeah.
Which
So we can see a sunset on the beach
yeah, we're
in
gonna
matching shirts
yeah
in
sun-
California.
and no
Just leave it at that.
yeah
But we're gonna go try that one out probably within the next couple of days. We'll see how it goes.
yeah
The conference kicks off tomorrow, so we will be presenting tomorrow. But
this
by the time,
coming out on Friday.
Yeah.
So
by the time
today's Tuesday. This comes out on Friday. So tomorrow is really 2 days ago.
well, that's a mind fuck. If you think about it, it's really a mind fuck.
Yeah.
Well, what if somebody listens to it on Monday,
Well,
and then you
it's
just said 2 days ago, so that'd be
3 days, 5
Saturday?
days ago, 6 days ago. It's just gonna start messing things up.
yeah. Let's not.
You know.
Let's just stay away from that one.
So we have yet to present. It is happening soon.
Tomorrow,
Wednesday.
Wednesday,
Yes.
1:15.
Which we need to practice.
Is it at 1:15?
1:15 local time, San Diego. If you're watching this video, it's too late.
Yeah, you missed it.
Yes.
Sorry about you.
So hope everyone gets to join. In fact, I think we may talk a little bit about what we're presenting tomorrow too. That way, get a little.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
They can get a little taste.
Yeah.
So, really, our presentation one is over the last planner system as a whole, and that's with Keon, our CEO. But mine and Thomas's solo presentation is strictly over daily huddles. And if you're not into the last planner system, if you're not into lean, man, I would still recommend doing daily huddles. They are so much better than your weekly subcontractor meeting that you may do. That they come in and you're just telling them what to do the whole dang time, and no one's listening. And they're just like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And after it's over, they're just gonna go do whatever the heck they want to do. Anyway, uh,
And what it kind of, the biggest thing we kind of want to get in that presentation though is how the daily huddles can help build the culture of the job site.
yeah,
It's bringing everybody together. It's talking for 15 to 20 minutes every morning about what you guys are doing for that day, what's going forward. Not only that, but it's also getting to know each other too. It's getting everybody in the same room, getting them talking. It's getting your sheetrocker and your electrician talking.
yep,
It's getting everybody there so everybody knows, who that person is, and they actually see him as a person, and they're not just seeing them as another trade partner on the job site.
oh, the dang electrician, oh, the
Yeah, the
freaking Sparky over
dang
there.
Sparkies and stuff like that. But it builds a culture, and it keeps people A wanting to come back, but also B like it, it helps out in the field. It helps when instead of the drywaller calling you the superintendent to call the electrician when they are like across the room from each other. It's them actually getting together and talking, and then both of them are calling you saying, "Hey, we figured out a solution. We're helping out. Here's the answer to the problem. What do you think? Are you okay with it?" And it goes from that to, them knowing each other, knowing their kids. Like it's way better. It makes life as a superintendent
Yeah,
100 times easier.
You're making those
Than
connections,
yes,
and actually building a team, knowing each other, and instead of
caring,
and caring. And
caring
so
for each
you're
other.
you're no longer just coming into work and just you know just going through motions.
Yeah.
You have a team that you're fighting for, and they start to see the same thing.
Yes.
So that's kind of the gist of it.
That's a sneak peek
Yeah.
to you
It,
who are not going to see this until after we present.
yes.
So it's really what is the opposite?
A post peak.
Post peak. Post. Sure.
No,
Whatever.
we're getting
We're
crazy.
we're good at this. Okay. So moving on.
So
Something else that Seth and I were talking about at breakfast this morning, and we were going to go a whole different route with this show.
yeah,
And we had a whole show plan, and we had it ready to go. We were sitting at breakfast, and we started talking about got on the conversation of micromanagers and how we feel about them and how we have dealt with micromanagers that we had in the past and what we have learned not to be those micromanagers ourselves. And I guess how it all started this morning was we know somebody who has somebody who does like to micromanage their time and what they like to do. Um, but when you see it from the other side, when you see it from the person who's actually being micromanaged, you see the unwanted stress that it puts that
yes,
person through all the time. And it goes down to like, even them wanting to take a day off for mental health or whatever. They got something else going on. Like they feel like they can't even take a day off of work because they are like so just micromanaged to the point where they don't, I'm trying to think of the right way to say it. Like they don't feel comfortable enough leaving for a day to take care of themselves because they're worried about what that person may or may not say to them or somebody else who works with them.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. And
It,
then you add in a little bit, and I feel like a lot of managers these days that you know of the micromanaging sort tend to be fairly passive aggressive. So they
yes,
never say what they mean, and they just give you these remarks that put you in this state of anxiety where you don't know what they really want.
it it's putting somebody in the fight or flight mode constantly,
Oh yeah,
and that's not a good place to be. I mean, it like you said, it creates all that anxiety, it creates all that unwanted anxiety in your life that you don't need, that nobody needs.
no,
They want to be able to
no,
live life and have that work life balance, but if you got somebody who's constantly monitoring your time or you know nitpicking at what you do all day long, or like you go to lunch a little bit early one day and come a little bit late, it's, hey, you were gone for an hour and a half for lunch today. Well, like, yeah, I had stuff I had to do at lunch.
Yeah.
And then to worry about that we can't get your own stuff done.
So,
It,
as someone trying to say, hey, like to get someone out of their micromanaging ways, like I think the first step would be to, like look at yourself. What makes you that way? Have you been burned? I mean, that's probably the most common thing is you've been burned over the years, and
for some reason,
for some reason you put your trust in somebody and now you can't trust again. Well, you got to think this this new person that you have on your team, or this new team, whether if you're coming over from another company, they're not that one person that burned you.
No.
You got to figure out a way to open that trust back up again.
End all be all. Like, if you look at it, most micromanagers probably have low self-esteem.
That's probably it too.
They feel like they have to be in control and they have to have that leader follower type management style, which, yeah, that was great back in the way back when, but nowadays, like, nobody wants to be part of that leader follower management lifestyle. They want to be the leader style.
Yeah.
And it makes it easier even on the person who is the manager or whoever, that if you actually trust somebody and you take it off of yourself and don't, put that trust in them, they will perform.
Yeah.
They might not do it the same way you want it done, but nobody's going to do it the same way you want it done. And that's where that you got to make sure you're out there trusting them and trusting the process and taking baby steps and going that whole route.
And that's where you could go in and say, hey, you did it this way and it worked. But hey, this is the way I would have done it, and make it a teaching moment, because maybe they didn't think about that other way that they could have done it, and you could just make that a teaching moment now and say, you don't have to do it my way. You can keep doing it your way. I feel like my way might be a little bit more easier than yours
for you, but not for that person.
Like I said, feel.
Yeah.
And then, like, why don't you give it a shot? If you don't like it, then do it your way.
It's the old, I guess the way that they teach you in school, the math stuff. Oh. You got to show your work.
Oh.
To get the proper, even though you got the answer right.
Even though you got the answer
but
right.
But then you have to show or if you didn't show your work, then you got the answer wrong. Like, it kind of goes along that same path in a sense. But
yep.
I always like to, there's an old saying. What's that old saying? There's 1,000 ways to skin a cat.
Yeah.
Or something like that. But with that saying, if you get the same result at the end, why do you care how the process is in between? Unless you know of a more efficient way, and like Seth was saying, you can help teach them, but don't make it to where you have to do it. Yeah, don't force feed it. Don't make them do it a certain way just because. Let people have a work-life balance. Let people go enjoy their kids. Let people come to San Diego or San Antonio, whichever one. But
and as much as we don't want to see a team member fail, sometimes it takes a failing moment to learn from.
Yes, and it does. That's how we learn.
Yeah, like I've screwed up so many times. It's just like, it's not even funny how many times I've screwed up, but I've learned from it. And if someone wouldn't have let me fail, I probably wouldn't be at where I am today.
Yeah, that's how you learn. I had an old boss of mine when I first got in the construction industry. He brought me in his office. It was like day 3. I had no construction background. I had no nothing. And it was like day 3, and he was about to send me out to a job. And he's like, I'm not going to send you out to the job. I'm not going to do trial by fire, this and that, blah, blah, blah. It's like, cool. So I go up there, start working with another superintendent. And about 2 weeks later, he pulls me in his office. And he goes, hey, man. He goes, I know you're going to fuck up. He goes, you're going to do it a lot in your career. He goes, and it's going to cost me money. And I know that. And I'm playing for it. So just go out there, figure it out, have fun, and don't worry about it if it costs me money, because it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my start in the industry, and kind of a cool boss that I had when I started. Kind of got me to where I'm at now. Different company, but
yeah,
got me to where I'm at. But going back to the micromanaging stuff, like I've had managers and bosses over me that were micromanaging and wanted it to be like the people who I was working with, like to micromanage them in a sense. And, I always had there's the phrase that's the shit rolls downhill.
Yep.
Like everybody's heard that. Shit rolls downhill. If there's something up at the top, it just keeps getting pushed down and pushed down and pushed down and pushed down. But I've always wanted to let that shit stop on my head and not get to the people who are working with me, because that's unwanted stress that I'm just taking from me and passing it out to everybody else.
Yeah.
Like if there's a way where I could stop it from on my head and then work it back up to where, help fix some issues, upward instead of letting it spread out everywhere else. That's what I try to do, especially on the jobs, when you get in pressure and stuff like that from owners and architects and project managers and stuff. Like don't let that let that shit hit your head and then spread out to the rest of your trade partners and your team out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, you definitely you don't want to add anything else to your team that isn't necessary. And as a manager, I think that is a really great way to look at it, is to not necessarily, we're not saying like hold everything in to yourself and you be the sole person, but take that back. So whatever's coming down from your upper management, stop it at you, bring it back up to them, and y'all together with your upper management figure out a solution.
Yeah.
Don't put it off on the next person down.
Don't be afraid to speak up. You're in that position for a reason.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to just don't take it all. And maybe that person who is putting the pressure on you, like, doesn't realize, hey, this is there's a better way to do it, or you have to do it this way, or I can find a different solution for it. Like, don't be afraid to open your mouth and speak up to the issue at hand. Just don't let it necessarily get to you as much. And then also I've learned not to take things as personally.
Yeah.
Because I know when I first started, a lot of the stuff I'd take personal, like if we missed an inspection, or if we missed if we failed an inspection, or if we missed a date on a procurement item or whatever it may be, like I usually would take that more personally and more that it was on me, like I was the issue and I was the reason why. But then once you realize, hey, don't take it so personally, your life gets a little bit easier, and you realize you can free up your mind for a lot more stuff.
No, and another thing is, just because your manager has a certain managerial style, like say micromanaging, don't let them force that on you to manage your people.
To force it onto somebody else.
To force it onto somebody else. Don't do that. You're gonna be your own manager. You have your managing style. Take that and run it. Be yourself.
Don't be the gopher.
Yeah.
Nobody likes to be the gopher, and nobody likes a person who is that person too.
No.
This makes everybody look bad. I think that was pretty good talk.
It was a good talk.
Yeah. It was a very good.
Yeah, I think
different direction that we went from what we originally wanted to talk about.
And I think it was good to get out there.
I think so too. I think it needed to be talked about. I think we were in the right place to talk about it. I think it just was one of those moments where you had something playing and then something else better. I wouldn't necessarily. Well, it just came up in conversation this morning, and it was a good thing to talk about.
Yeah.
It just, there's a lot of people dealing with that out there, I feel like. And
most definitely. And
hopefully at least somebody can take something from it and maybe kind of change their mind or change how they do stuff.
Yeah, and I know we're, geared towards construction because that's where we are, but
that's what we do.
If you feel like this would resonate with somebody that's not in the industry, shoot it on over to them. Like,
please
a lot of these talks can go into any industry.
Oh, those are cool boats. Look at that. Sorry, that was definitely a squirrel moment there.
Boats.
Looks like it's like Coast Guard. Or...
You would think we've never seen a boat before.
Those are like Navy boats.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're Navy boats.
I don't know. It's pretty cool out here. They got
freaking beautiful.
It is. They got the naval yard that's over here, naval base, with all their cool new ships and stuff like that out here.
Mark Zuckerberg's
freaking dude, I forgot about that.
Is out here, and it is massive.
His support vessel for his yacht
is like 3/4, like almost the same size as his yacht, just like a hair smaller. So like 3/4 of the size of the freaking yacht.
Yeah.
It's his support vessel.
Y'all look it up. I think it's called the launch pad or something like that, but it is insane.
Yeah, it's I like. Do you just take? We were talking about like do him and his wife or girlfriend, whatever. I don't
Just take it
I
by
don't know
themselves.
what
I think
is-
he's married now.
Is he married?
I think
Anyways,
so.
they just go out by themselves on this huge freaking ship that could fit, I don't know, what, 1,000 people on it, it feels like?
So I looked it up yesterday, and I'm gonna look it up again. But I think it said it only holds 24 people.
Bull.
24 people, but it had 48 crew members. That's insane.
This thing's a dang cruise ship, guys.
Yeah.
It's a cruise ship. 24 people? No. I mean, if that's the only, if that's all the life jackets you put on the ship, and that's as many people that can be on there. So
Maybe, I don't know. But where were we going?
I
We
don't
were
know.
talking about,
We're just talking about San Diego, man.
and then we saw the ship with the
Yeah,
boats.
squirrel.
Then we got onto the Mark Zuckerberg mansion on the water.
Mansion on the water.
I like that.
I mean, it basically is a mansion.
Yeah.
But we digress.
Again, we like to do this.
We're gonna,
Excuse me.
at some point this week, we're gonna get matching tattoos. No.
Did we talk about that?
Okay.
I don't. We'll figure that out.
Semi-matching tattoos.
We'll figure that out. But that's for later. That's for later.
We'll show 'em off later.
What have we been going at this for? 25 minutes now?